Spoilers ahead! Contrary to the last Star Wars movie, which basically revealed nothing until opening night, it looks like Rogue One is taking a more traditional approach with a somewhat spoilerific story trailer. It turns out that the rebellious Jyn Erso has daddy issues, surprise surprise, and is going to work through them in the typical way, by destroying the planet-shattering superweapon her father is working on. But hey, as long as they keep up those awesome battle scenes, I'm not complaining. On the other side of the Disney empire, Marvel wrapped up New York Comic Con this week by announcing a new Spider-Man animated series. Set for 2017, Marvel's Spider-Man will replace Ultimate Spider-Man, which wraps up this January after 4 seasons. Involved in the new show will be supervising director Philip Pignotti, who has worked on both Ultimate Spider-Man and Avengers Assemble. Also working on the show is story editor Kevin Shinick, who has written a variety of Spider-Man comics since 2009. Over in video games, Square Enix has announced the second expansion for Final Fantasy XIV. The Stormblood expansion will raise the level cap to 70 and revamp the battle system to accommodate multiple new jobs that have yet to be announced. Unfortunately for PS3 players, the expansion will also mark the end of PS3 support for the game. Most of the game's console population is already migrated to the PS4, and a free upgrade will be held in the future to usher in the rest of the stragglers. Meanwhile, in Blizzard news, StarCraft 2 just got a lot more adorable. For years, StarCraft fans have enjoyed the popular StarCrafts cartoon, and now, with a new mod, they can skin the game in all its animated glory. And since the mod is part of StarCraft's arcade mode, anybody can play it absolutely free. Over in Heroes of the Storm, Blizzard has introduced another new champion, the samurai-styled orc, Samuro. Wow, Blizz. Samuro is an offensive character that gains movement speed when he lands melee attacks. His mirror image ability gives him 2 clones with reduced HP and damage, Critical Strike gives him guaranteed bonus damage, and Windwalk gives him a cloak and increases his movement speed for when he needs to make a hasty retreat. For ultimates, Samuro has Blade Storm, turning him into a whirlwind of AoE damage, or you can go with Illusion Master, which allows him to directly control his mirror images or even switch places with them. And finally, it's Halloween time in Overwatch. The Halloween Terror event marks the second holiday event for Overwatch, introducing 100 new cosmetic items to the game for a limited time only. Taking feedback from their summer games to heart, Blizzard has made it easier to get the skins and poses you really want by letting you spend regular in-game currency on them, albeit at an inflated cost. This is a welcome change from the previous event, where the only way to collect the items was to test your luck in the random item boxes. For the rest of the month, players can enjoy their skins in the Halloween-themed Hollywood map or try out the new Brawl, Junkenstein's Revenge, a PvE-based event that pits a team of 4 against waves of AI Omnics and special bosses. Hitting theaters this week, Tom Cruise is back as Jack Reacher in Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. I don't know what this movie is actually about, but let's face it, does it really matter? If you want to see Tom Cruise beating up people for 2 hours, this is where you're going to find it. Getting more into the holiday spirit, we have Ouija, Origin of Evil. This is a prequel to the first movie and actually looks pretty darn scary. They've got some real creepy exorcist stuff going on here with this possessed little girl, and if the trailer is any indication, it might be worth a look. But if you're looking for something a little funnier, there's Keeping Up with the Joneses. A normal suburban couple gets tangled up with their super spy neighbors. It's nothing that probably hasn't been done before, but that doesn't mean it isn't worth watching. Over on television, The Vampire Diaries starts back up for its 8th and final season on the CW. Flip a coin to guess which vampire brother will cross the line from morally flexible to outright villain this time around. And speaking of CW shows where the main characters are all kind of terrible people, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend starts up its 2nd season this week. It's kind of like Vampire Diaries, but with more singing and dancing. And if you're not into that, on literally the farthest possible other end of the spectrum, we have the 3rd season of Black Mirror on Netflix. Get ready to question your relationship with technology and the world we live in with 6 new disturbing episodes. And then relax a little bit with Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on BBC America. Max Landis is adapting this Douglas Adams property that features a detective that doesn't find clues and a perpetually confused Elijah Wood. Moving over to video games, out this week we have Super Hop and Bop Ultra, which I admit doesn't actually look that interesting, but look at how well they were able to recreate the classic Game Boy style. Raging Titan doesn't look quite as low effort as last week's unmemorable tower defense game, but it is close. Lost Sock's Naughty Brothers actually does look kinda fun though. At first glance it looks like a typical 2D action platformer, but it mixes the endless runner genre into the mix. Could mobile influences in PC games actually result in something fun? Meanwhile, Soulless looks to be anything but, which is a shame because it seems that every week we get another incredible looking puzzle platformer that somebody put their heart and soul into. They all look great, but the market is so saturated it's all but impossible for them to stand out. Quiver of Crows doesn't seem to have that problem though. Take away the aesthetic and it's a typical twin-stick shooter, but the grim art style alone makes this one worth a look. And finally, Civilization 6. If you know Civ, then you don't need me to tell you about this game. If you don't know Civ, then don't worry, somebody will be along shortly to explain why this is either the best version of the game ever or the worst version of the game ever. And that brings us to this week's awesome video. The Game Theorists put out a Halloween-centric game exchange this week, comparing the gun-shoe-wearing Bayonetta to real-world witchcraft. It turns out the two are closer than you might think.
And you wouldn't think that, right? I mean, every time you think witch, you think green sickly skin, fat, scraggled hair, big warty nose. So how did we go from this to this? Let's break down the details.
That's everything for this week. So, does the new Rogue One trailer get you hyped, or would you rather they keep the lid on things until the movie's out? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, pass this video around to your friends, and have a great week.